Well, it wouldn't be an AV Forum's end of CES wrap-up video if we weren't standing in the middle of Red Rock Canyon. It really is beautiful out here. So let's wrap up what we've seen this week and our favourite TVs and other products. So the first thing that happened at CES was the Samsung First Look event, which kicked off the show on Sunday night. And Samsung unveiled two concept TVs. These were the 75-inch micro LED TV and the 219-inch The Wall. Now, we couldn't get too close to this 75-inch micro LED TV because of the stage that it was on, but we don't think that was due to Samsung not wanting us to get too close to the display. I just think it was the way that that event was set up that we couldn't get up onto the stage, and obviously health and safety and all the rest of it. You can understand why they didn't want people climbing up and down onto that stage. I've got to say the TV looked spectacular, as did the 219-inch The Wall, and I really like the concept of the modular design where you could change the shape of the screen. So if you're a big movie fan like I am, you could have a 21:9 or a 240:1 ratio screen, which gets rid of the black bars, providing there's picture processing to do that and zoom the image up for you to watch your films with the black bars, get that real cinematic look. And if you think of building up the modules, you could have a massive screen depending on your budget, depending on how much this technology is going to cost. And that's the problem at the moment, because this really is vaporware, and I mean that in the nicest possible sense. These products don't exist at the minute other than prototypes. It was the same last year with The Wall. It was a nice concept. This year they've further developed that. They've given us the 75-inch screen. They've shown us other ways of putting these little modules together to create photographs on your wall and to create screens of any size and any ratio. So it really is interesting technology. I guess because we're an online forum and we're on the internet and everything is instant, we want to see this technology as soon as possible, and that's just not going to happen at the moment. This technology needs to develop. Samsung aren't the only obviously company that's doing this. TCL were showing their version of micro LED on their stand as well. They had a different cinema wall design and different name for it, but it's basically the same technology that's being worked on at the moment, and it is promising because, you know, you're talking about microscopic LEDs, red, green and blue pixels. You're talking about ultimate black levels. You're talking about really bright, colourful images, and at this moment in time, although we have no way of saying whether this is true or not, there wouldn't be any burning, or there shouldn't be any burning, or chances of image retention and that kind of thing. So it still looks like the ultimate in display technology, but don't expect it in the next 5 years. And if it does turn up in the next 5 years, I'll eat my words, because I think they still need a long way to go to develop that technology, but great to see it. As for Samsung 4K QLED TVs, nothing on the show floor at this moment in time. No models announced, no model numbers given, and that's because Samsung are going to hold a launch event a little bit later in the year, probably round about March. So keep tuned to AV Forums, and we'll definitely bring you those details as soon as we have them. So moving on, the next event that we attended was the Panasonic First Look event, which took place in a nightclub in MGM, and it wasn't the most ideal circumstances to see their launch of the GZ2000. Lots of G's this year, which makes reciting model numbers a little bit difficult, but the GZ2000 from Panasonic, it's their next generation OLED panel, and the big news here was that it has Dolby Vision as well as HDR10+, so it's the first TV in the world for that. And that's great. If you're a film fan and you want the best quality and you want the best for your cinematic images, you get Dolby Vision. You also get HDR10+, so you don't need to look at the back of the disc to see which format it's in. It will be covered on the Panasonic GZ2000. And the other world's first for that screen is, of course, the Dolby Atmos upward firing speakers that are built to the rear of the TV. And we had a good look at that at the Panasonic closed door demonstration area where they were showing off the consumer products. There is another video on YouTube from us from that stand where I introduce you to some of the products and obviously take a closer look at the GZ2000. But I have to say, in terms of what movie fans are looking for, I think until we get in for review, we won't know for certain, but certainly in my opinion, I think this was the one that was undercover at the show. I think this is the undiscovered gem because the Panasonic is not available in the US. A lot of the US media simply ignored it or simply didn't know it existed, and I think it fell under the radar a little bit, but I definitely think it's a premium screen and it gets our best of show for the the best TV in our opinion of what we've seen, of definitely what I've seen at this show, because it's a real product. You're going to be able to go and buy this. We'll get more details on that in February, but it's definitely a TV that you're going to be able to go and buy. It does Dolby Vision, it does HDR10 Plus, it does HLG, it does normal HDR10. They were showing that on their consumer stand as well. Go and see that video if you want more in-depth look at what they were doing there. So it's an all-round screen, and it gets our best of show as the best TV that we've seen. Now, Panasonic haven't done any concept screens. They haven't said that they're going to do 8K. They haven't said that no HDMI 2.1 even on the GZ2000, because actually it doesn't really need it at this moment in time. It's a 2019 product. HDMI 2.1 isn't going to be a big thing at this moment in time. So in terms of a TV that will do what it needs to do for the next couple of years until technology moves on, it gives you everything you want from HDR. So in those terms, that's why I'm giving it the best TV of the show. You can disagree, and I'll respect that. These are just opinions that are based on what we've seen on the show floor. Once we get the TV in for review, we'll be able to give you a bit more detail in what the TV is actually like performance-wise, but certainly in terms of what I've seen, in terms of promise and so on. And it's not vaporware, it actually exists. You're going to be able to go and buy it. And let's face it, I don't think anybody else apart from LG has announced their model numbers and what the TVs are actually going to be. This has been a technology showcase, a technological showcase of what these companies want to bring this year, but they haven't actually given us any specific products to look at. So in terms of the GZ2000 from Panasonic and what else that they're going to bring out TV wise this year, we'll have to wait till February and the Panasonic convention, which will happen there. We'll get the full UK lineup of all the screens, so all the OLED screens and LCD LED TVs that are coming to market, as well as other AV products. That's going to happen in February, so stay tuned for that on AV Forums. We'll bring that to you as soon as that happens. So like I said, I mentioned LG, and they are the only other company out there at the moment who have announced actual model numbers of the TVs that are going to come this year. Unfortunately, we didn't see them. The only TVs, again, that we saw this year were the concept screens and obviously the other big models that are coming to market this year. So the 88-inch LG 8K OLED TV looks absolutely fantastic. We've seen it a couple of times now. It is now going to be a real product. It is going to come to market this year, and it looks like it's going to be an absolutely cracking TV. Again, it's a signature product. It's going to be expensive, so expect a big price tag with that one. Again, it's an 88-inch TV. Interestingly, on the LG display side of things, we did have a closed door demonstration of other technology that LG Display are doing. Now, LG Electronics, LG Display, separate companies, but LG Display are the company that they innovate, they bring the new products in, and then it gets passed on to LG Electronics and other companies that buy into OLED panels and so on. So their stand also had a 65-inch 8K TV, OLED TV. We're not sure if that's going to come to market this year or next year, but certainly one does exist, and that was seen on the LG display stand. So the other big talking point for LG this year in terms of OLED TVs was the Rollable or Rolled TV that we saw 2 or 3 times in different locations. It was on the LG display stand. We also had a closed door demonstration the first day of the show as well, and we've seen it a few times now, and I've got to say it's really impressive technology. It's the same picture quality, it's the same features that you would get on the normal OLED screens. Again, it's an LG signature product, so it is going to be expensive. It's one of these items that really is going to be top end of the market, but in terms of just the cool of rolling and unrolling that screen, it really is something. And the other thing is the sound quality is really, really good because it has the big bass to fit the TV into. You're able to get proper speaker drivers in there and obviously get a proper sound quality as well, which is really quite good. And again, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, everything on there that you would expect to be on there. So again, LG really knocking it out of the park in terms of their signature screens. It's just a shame that they didn't have the C9 or the E9 on display or promoting that in any way at the show this year. It was a bit of a shame, but we'll catch up with those screens as soon as they are available. So CES really is a US-centric show, and in those terms there are brands here which release TVs like some of the Chinese manufacturers, big Chinese manufacturers like Skyworth and so on, as well as other brands like Vizio who do not launch their TVs in the UK. So obviously we haven't covered any of those brands because they're not available in Europe and the UK. And also there are brands available in the UK and Europe that are not available in the US, and I'm thinking about TP Vision and Philips here. Now obviously they are not at the show, they're not announcing any products at the show because they're going to have their event in the next couple of weeks. If you're watching this video when it gets published, at the time it gets published, in the next 2 weeks, so that's going to be the third week in January in Amsterdam. They are going to announce their TVs for the year, so stay tuned for that event. We are going along. We'll obviously bring you video coverage and written coverage of that show when it happens and the products that are announced there. So that's US centric. They have other things that have been happening, other videos that we've published. So if you're interested in HDMI 2.1, you want to know what all that is about, you can also go and see that video. That is in the CES 2019 playlist. Go and hunt it out, as well as what is IMAX Enhanced. Another big buzz around the show was IMAX Enhanced. So what is it? What does it stand for? What do you get? Do you need specialist equipment and so on? There is another video available on AV Forums and on YouTube under our CES 2019 playlist, so go and have a look at those. So getting back to TVs, the next manufacturer on the list is a Chinese manufacturer, and that's TCL, and we interviewed Marek. So if you want to hear everything about the brand, then go and search out the 2 videos that we did with Marek from TCL, where he explains micro LED and mini LED, and also talks about the 8K TV that is coming to the UK this year. It looks great. It's got Dolby Vision. It's going to have HDR10 plus. It's an 8K screen, and also Dolby Atmos sound. So it looks like a really feature-packed TV. It looked great on the show floor. So that's coming from TCL this year. Keep an eye out for that. We'll get it in for review as soon as it's available. And then finally, for the TVs that we're covering here from the show this year, the TVs that you're going to be able to go out and buy from manufacturers that bring their products to the UK, and that's Sony. And Sony had another amazing stand. They've announced 3 main TVs that really interest us. The first one is the ZG. I did tell you there was lots of Gs. The ZG9 is their ultimate in terms of LED LCD TVs. It's going to be available in an 85 and 98 inch screen sizes. They are coming to the UK. How you're going to get them into your property, I really don't know, but if you can afford that TV and you have the space for a TV like that, then that shouldn't be an issue getting it into your property, I wouldn't imagine. They did look really good. We had a closed door black room demo, or black box demo as Sony call it. We weren't allowed to film in there, sadly, but the demonstration was really quite good. We have the ZF9 against the ZG9 and the Sony X300 OLED studio monitor, you know, $50,000, around about £30,000 worth of kit there, that we could sit and look at the image on all 3, and I've got to say, on all 3, in terms of white point, in terms of colour accuracy, they were all very, very similar. But the thing on the 8K ZG9 is pixel density, and it matches that of the monitor. If you think the monitor is 30 inches, it's a 4K panel, so the pixels really are packed in there. They're really dense in terms of the pixels, and that's what you get with 8K pixel density. So you don't really need, at this moment in time, according to Sony, and obviously according to Samsung as well, who are also had their 8K TVs here, and we've reviewed the Q900. Their thing is pixel density with upscaling. It's going to look really good, and I have to say it does look really good. I've lived with an 8K TV for a couple of weeks and also seen what Sony have to offer here, and against the studio monitor that, you know, a lot of the content is mastered on, and I have to say that in terms of image quality it really did look nice. Now again, the material being shown on all the TVs this week is, you know, purpose content. It's content shot by the manufacturers or commissioned by the manufacturers to make their TVs look good, and it's all slow motion, it's nature shots, it's shots of plants and all that kind of thing, so they can show off the colours and detail and so on. We saw not a lot of moving material, and that was the same in the black box demonstration. Because one of the issues I did have with the ZF9 from Sony, which was a TV I reviewed about 6 weeks ago now, was that the black bars lit up when anything got close to them within the frame, so anything bright in the frame. If it was close to the black bars lit up, and that took you out of the movie experience. Now, that feedback has gone back to Sony. They have acknowledged that that a few people have fed that back to them now, and certainly in terms of the local dimming on the ZG9, I didn't see any issues, but then again I didn't see anything in scope with black bars, so we're not able to say if that's going to be a problem or not. Again, they're really large screen sizes, so I don't think we're going to get them in for review, just logistic wise. It may be that we need to go elsewhere, and if that's made possible, then we may go elsewhere to review these TVs. It wouldn't be a normal review, but I'm really interested to see what the technology is like. So that is their flagship Master Series ZG9. These Gs are going to trip me up. It looks really, really good. It's obviously a premium product. It's going to cost a lot of money. You're talking about really big screen real estate and the latest technology, but again, really impressive to see. But of course, they are replacing the AF9 with the AG9. That's their latest OLED TV panel. It is slimmer than the AF9. There's certainly a lot less round the back, so if you think the AF9 had a pedestal stand, it stuck out quite a bit. You had to fold the stand in if you wanted to wall mount it, but it left quite a big gap between the wall and the panel, because you had this pedestal that you had to, you know, position in, and that's where all the connections were on the back. This year with the AG9, it's a lot thinner. You're not going to have that problem. It stands upright as well, so it doesn't lean back. Some people didn't like the fact that the AF9 leant back. So they've made some improvements there. It also has the Netflix calibrated mode. That's for all these TVs that I'm talking about. It's on there as well. As well as Dolby Vision, HLG, HDR10, and all of Sony's proprietary image processing is on there as well. Again, it has the acoustic surface technology, which is really impressive. It won our Editor's Choice Award for the AF9. It's gone from 3 actuators on the back to just 2 now, but they've changed the shape, so they've changed from 2 small little round actuators per actuator, so there was 3 of them, 6 in total. They've gone down to 2 now, but they're oval shaped, and Sony says that gives a lot better mid-range and higher end sound quality, with the 2 subwoofers still there for the mid and lower frequencies. So that was interesting to look at as well. And then for those who maybe can't step up to the Master Series but still want the best from Sony, they are also doing the XG95 as well as a few models under that, but the XG95 is the one that we're highlighting here at CES. And I have to say again, it looked really impressive. It's going to have a lot of the technology that was in the ZF9. And unfortunately I'm having to show you another bit of cutaway footage here, because we didn't actually manage to get any photographs of it or any video of it, but it certainly looks like it's going to be an impressive screen. So that was what Sony had to offer. That's what everybody had to offer. But like I say, our TV of the show, and don't take this the wrong way, if you know, we're not giving it to concept screens, we're not giving it to vaporware, we're actually giving it to a product that I think has fallen under the radar in terms of, you know, I've been looking around at other coverage from the show. It hasn't been getting the publicity it really should be getting, because it has 2 world firsts there, and that is the Panasonic GZ2000. I really do think that, given the OLED technology, given the way that Panasonic do colour, and that was evident in the FZ802 and the FZ952 from last year, which both picked up badges from us and awards from us. The only thing holding back there was the fact that it didn't have Dolby Vision, and that was what we thought was holding it back. They've added that now, so it now has HDR10 plus, it has Dolby Vision on board, as well as some other features, and the Atmos speakers with the amplifying sound, so that gets our best of show. And that's it from CES in Red Rock Canyon here. The sun's shining, we're in the desert, I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, and I'm absolutely frozen because the temperatures aren't that high this time of year. But I really do hope that you have enjoyed our coverage from CES this year. It's been hard work, it always is. It's been a long week, but I think we've seen some really interesting things. Hopefully we've managed to take you along on the journey when we've visited different companies. We've asked the hard questions, I think. Some of them have been dodged, some of them have been answered, and I'd like to thank everybody that has taken part this week in our coverage and given us their time for interviews and so on. But if you have enjoyed it and you want to come back and see more from AV Forums, we will have a lot more video content coming in 2019. Lots of different things like comparison videos, like review videos, and obviously we're going to a lot of these launch events this year for the big screens, and we'll have interviews and more footage and that kind of thing. So come back and see us. Click the subscribe button, click the like button as well, and why not click the bell while you're at it? That's 3 clicks. The bell will tell you when our next video is available. But from Red Rock Canyon and CES 2019, I'm Phil Hinton. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.